Aaron Foster, what's been your most disappointing RC purchase so far, or what product do you think you paid way too much for what it offered you? Also, is there any RC vehicle that you've been wanting for a while but you haven't pulled the trigger on? Okay, thanks for the question. Most disappointing RC purchase, the vehicle is probably the Losi Tenacity MT. It was like this monster truck that I got on sale, honestly, for $250. I think regular is $400, so I got a pretty good deal on that. But it was a horrible truck. It was the predecessor to their current Losi Tenacity Pro line, so the like the Pro TT or the DB Pro, or even the Laser Nut. It's kind of the ancestor of those. It was just terrible. Had a plastic chassis. The motor would run at like 205 degrees, just normally. It was barely capable of doing 3S. The body shattered on the first first crash. The body completely destroyed itself. There was like bottom loading battery off the chassis that you needed like a coin. You had to use like a little coin, like a quarter or something, to open up the battery tray. It was like stupid. Honestly, sorry. It's just bad. The battery tray broke. The shocks are plastic. The whole thing was plastic. I mean, the drivetrain was all metal, but cheap steel, and it was expensive, and the electronics are terrible. My ESC caught on fire. Just the worst RC car I ever had. Is there any vehicle that you've been wanting for? I am interested in the Serpent what's it called? SRX 4 Gen 3. That looks like a super cool buggy, something I'd like to get. I'll talk more about that in the next question, but the problem with that car is that nobody would watch it, and for better or for worse, what people would watch, what people are interested in, does have a great effect on what I decide to buy. And if something no one wants to watch, and it's expensive, right? I think it's like over $500, $550 or something probably. Then it does make it really hard for me to justify buying. Contrary to popular belief, I do not have unlimited budgets to buy RC stuff. Ben Wheeler, would you consider buying and reviewing the Serpent SRX 4 Gen 3? So I did mention that. That looks like a super cool buggy. I think it's belt drive in the front, and then like a 3-gear transmission in the rear with a belt in place of the spur, I guess. So it's got a pulley instead of a spur that ties into the front end. Really cool car. I don't know if it's meant for carpet. That's one issue I have. My local track is carpet, so if that thing's meant for dirt, which it probably is more meant for dirt, then it'd be even more expensive to build as a carpet car. So I've never had a Serpent car. Would really like to do it. I really like interesting cars like the Gen 3 is very, very different from anything else out there, so that does pique my interest. But like I mentioned, no one would watch it. Maybe you and like 5 other people. But yeah, I don't know. This is always possible. I still get one. Also, what's your favorite full-scale car or brand? Interesting question. I don't have like a particular car or brand that I follow. I would like a 911 or a Porsche Cayman at some point. That's kind of like a dream car, I guess, that's somewhat attainable. Corvette, the mid-engine one looks pretty amazing. That would be awesome. I think that's a little more practical because the bang for the buck value proposition there is way better than any sort of German car. I used to have a BMW E30 325 IS, so my dream car used to be like a M3, like an E30 M3 or even an E36 M3. I actually had a chance to get I forgot the model designation, E46 or something, but the last like V8 naturally aspirated M3 I did have a chance to buy at a pretty good price. It was like my relatives, but I decided not to get it. It's just not practical, and having owned BMWs, and they're just like a lot of maintenance and expensive, and I don't know. I kind of like bang for the buck, and so yeah, I'm not as much into cars now, but yeah, I would like a Porsche. I mean, a Porsche is something I always wanted. I've driven Porsches. They're amazing cars. Just really expensive. Everything's really expensive, right? So that's my answer there. Innovative RC, looking forward to the Q&A. If you do get around to this comment, So what is your favorite scale size for bashing, and what do you think makes a good RC channel? So favorite size scale for bashing, I think it's 1/8 scale, like a 6S. I love my my Outcast 6S EXB. I do have large scales like the Outcast 8S and the X Max, but I don't think they're as fun. Obviously they can do certain things that the smaller scale stuff can't do, but in terms of like speed or tricks or that sort of thing, they're not as fast. I mean, I guess you could make them crazy fast, but it's a little bit harder to make them super fast. So yeah, I do like the 8 scale stuff. At least the places around here, that is probably best suited for the jumps and the BMX parks and stuff I like to visit. What do you think makes a good RC channel? So I'm going to answer this kind of like, what do I think makes an RC channel successful? Which is slightly different than what I like watching in an RC channel. But in terms of being successful, because Innovative RC, those of you guys who haven't checked out his channel, definitely check it out. Awesome channel. A little bit on the smaller side, but great content. Bashers, race kits, really great. So check them out, everybody. But in terms, like, I assume you're asking, how can I make my channel more popular or whatever. So first off, excellent production, which you do have. Innovative RC has excellent editing, music, slow-mos or different angles and stuff. That part I think is huge. That just draws people in if they haven't seen your channel before, and once they start watching, you want them to watch as long as possible. I think also good thumbnails, that's just kind of a standard YouTube thing. I think also having something a little different, some angle that isn't well covered by any other channels, because it's hard to stand out nowadays. I mean, when I got into the YouTube thing, that was like 5 years ago. There were maybe like 50 channels. I don't even know, but there were really only maybe like 20 big ones that people watched, and then now there's got to be 1,000. And so it's hard to stand out. It's hard with something small to kind of get noticed. Some tips though, like, yeah, something different, like, RC Kiwis, for example, they're kind of a husband and wife team. They have some comedy, they have super nice editing, really good looking videos. They cover all types of vehicles, bashers primarily, but also planes, crawlers. And then somebody like Kevin Talbot, is that how you say it? Talbot? I don't know. Anyways, I think his angle is like entertainment, crazy breakages, doing crazy things with RC cars. The more insane, the better. Rich Duper Bash, for example, super crazy jumps and sends and, massive air and like serious bashing. Mine, I think, is more on the informational, technical side. Like, I don't try to be particularly entertaining or funny or whatever. I just try to be a little more in-depth, cover things other people aren't covering, get a little more technical and figuring out things. Honestly, I think that's kind of an area not a lot of channels do a good job. I know there's a lot of channels that are somewhat popular or whatever, and people are giving advice, but honestly, I think there's a lot of bad information out there. So I try to like really get to the heart of what is going on. How do you make your cars better? Be completely unbiased. A lot of channels get their stuff for free, and they kind of have to be somewhat nice to the manufacturer. I don't get any RC cars from the manufacturer. Maybe like one or two, I think, in this channel. So I feel free to say whatever I want. But yeah, so whatever your angle you think you can be different. The other thing is, since you're small, you're not going to be promoted as much on like the homepage or up next videos or recommended videos or whatever. So you gotta be able to like have videos that search well. I think that's important. Like if you're able to somehow get the brand new Traxxas, whatever, like let's say you came up with a Slash 2.0 and you got that early, so everyone searching up Slash 2.0 would basically find your videos, then that's a way to kind of get noticed, and because it'll be hard to get your videos promoted by YouTube, which is really how you get subscribers. So hopefully that helped you out. But yeah, good content, good looking content, good thumbnails, and then something different that people will find if they're looking for something. All right, Jeff Reiner, I'd like to know why people love to buy RCs from a Chinese website like Banggood. Why would they spend $112 on the WL Toys when you can buy a Traxxas Bandit for $149 and have part support? Great for the Bandit's great for beginners. Would you shop Banggood for, let's say, an iPhone Alrighty, so looks like I think there's a lot of replies on this, so I won't get into the kind of back and forth on the replies, but I think you're asking actually kind of two parts. One is maybe they're related, but Banggood obviously is a Chinese website. I think they're in, I don't know, Hong Kong or China or somewhere. But anyways, partly focused on Chinese brands. A lot of inexpensive, cheap, low end Chinese brands like WL Toys or ZD Racing. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about all these different brands. But yeah, they are cheap. They are popular. I think they're actually more popular probably in Asia or Australia or something like that. I mean, people in the US definitely buy stuff from that. And those cars are, they do pretty well on YouTube. A lot of people get those cars and do reviews and video. I mean, I guess they're popular. So people are interested in that. I do agree that, like, personally, I try to recommend people buy more like a 10 scale from a larger brand just for part support, like you mentioned. I do think that's important. If you get a WL Toys and you need a part, I mean, you're going to wait on parts from Banggood, right? You're going to wait a week or two, whatever it is. Just because you're not going to be able to find stuff locally, or even, I don't know if anyone in the US, maybe Amazon, you can get parts, or eBay. I'm not really sure. But yeah, just from a supportability point of view, I do agree getting a more popular brand is going to make your life easier. That said, I understand why people, if they only have $80, maybe they buy a 14401 or something like that, and I can't say you have to spend $80 on a Bandit or whatever it is. So I think there's a market for it. If it gets people into it, great. I'm all for that. Me personally, yeah, not really the type of products I'm interested in, but it is for some people. I mean, I had a WL Toy 144001, and I did bend some stuff, break some stuff, and realized those aren't things I personally would spend a lot of money upgrading. I mean, by the time you stick in a brushless motor and better, I don't know, shock towers or whatever, or better drive shafts, yeah, you're spending already like $250 or I don't know, $200 plus, and I think you could probably get something a little bit better out of the box if you bought it originally. But I don't know, people like them. What can I say? I'm happy to let people do whatever they want to do. All right, SH. What's the best, cheapest 1/10 for track use? Best I found so far is VCar Racing V.4B. Not pulled the trigger yet. Okay, so one thing I would say is don't just look at the initial price on an RC car, because you're going to need batteries, chargers, you're going to break stuff, you're going to want to upgrade stuff. It's really easy to spend a lot more than the original price when you buy an RC car. So that said, the VCar Racing V.4B, I think that was like a 4-wheel drive 10 scale. Don't really know anything about that. I kind of saw it, but I've never driven one or even seen one actually. So I would, if you really want a cheap 1/10 scale, I would just get some sort of RTR. Like, I think Kyosho had an RB6. Serpent's got a SRX2 mid motor, which I think is like $250. Pretty cheap also. For ready to run. I don't think it comes with battery, but it comes with everything else, I think, including transmitter. So that's a cheap vehicle. You can get into it. Team Associate just released the RB10, but it is $400 for an RTR, so that's pretty expensive. But that's a pretty good buggy. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know too much about the really cheap ones, and I'm a little hesitant to recommend any of those. I think somebody made a low-C clone that looked pretty decent, but anyways, don't really know about that. And I would caution you that racing is more expensive than you think. I mean, tires, you're going to need the right tires. You're going to need a decent battery. At some point, you want a better radio than an RTR radio, because pretty much all the RTR radios are pretty poor and will kind of hold you back a little bit. So I would try to get something decent, like maybe the Serpent or the Associated. All right, Bubbles RC Shed. I give belly work for pizza. I don't know what that means. What is belly work? That sounds like a massage or something. Do you enjoy pizza before or after playing with RC cars? Yeah, I do like pizza. Before, after, during, at the track. A lot of times it's around dinner time. Maybe I'll eat some pizza while I'm at the track. So, do love pizza. Thomas the Tank Engine. I'd like an answer to how many RCs are too many in detail, like newbies with RTR going by and crazy, and they still feel the same in a few years. Okay, how many is too many? I don't know. I think that's kind of up to the person. Funny story, I'll tell you. So a few weeks ago, a dude shows up in that new Porsche Taycan or Taycan or whatever, that electric Porsche. You know, that $180,000 Porsche or whatever. I think it was like the turbo model, whatever. Anyways, he pulls up in this brand new Porsche, jumps out. You know, he shows up at the local hobby shop right when it opened. Jumps out, takes out two Losi DBXLEs, Arma Crane 8S, a few like high-end Spectrum radios, like this crazy crawler, like $1,000 charger, like this like suitcase-sized charger, a bunch of batteries. And he's like, I don't want any of this stuff. Can you guys take it? And the employee's like, what? What do you mean? He's like, no, I don't. These things are dangerous. You know, I don't want them anymore. I'm just giving away. And so he just gave away like $5,000 worth of Archie stuff. So, you know, I saw all the stuff. I wasn't there when he gave it away, but I saw all the stuff that he gave away. It was insane. You know, he wouldn't even take any money for it. So some people just have a crap ton of money. So how many is too many? This guy was probably a newbie. I mean, I think he got into RC probably for like 2 months, realized it was not for him, and then just gave it all away. So for him, how many are too many? I guess there's no limit to how many too many. On the other hand, if you know you have a hard time paying rent, you know, if you've got a family and your kids aren't getting fed, I would say one is too many. You know, so everybody's situation is different. I mean, I bought like 4 or 5 in my first year in RC. I got a B5, a Stampede 4x4, a Slash 4x4 Platinum. I think a TLR. So I bought a bunch of cars in my first year, but I was really into it and I liked it, and I didn't think it was too crazy. But so I can't say what is right wise. But the second part of the question, I think, is kind of implying that a lot of people get into it and out of it, and I think that's true. I do think the pandemic basically had a bunch of people sitting at home, maybe with some money to spend, finding a hobby, looking for a hobby that they can do by themselves, and RC pretty much fit the bill for a lot of people. So there definitely was this huge boom in the last year and a half, and I do kind of feel like it was a bit of a fad, or it will be a bit of a fad. I mean, some people will stay in, but you know, I think a decent amount of people will drop out, you know, maybe like 20% or something. So yeah, there may be some good deals on RC cars pretty soon. On the other hand, RC stuff is still out of stock like everywhere, so you know, supply has not kept up with demand. So okay, I think that's all the questions and answers. Hope you enjoyed that. This video is getting pretty long, but thanks everyone for your questions. If you haven't already subscribed, you know, I do this once in a while and throw it up on my community pages, which is where you'll hear about it. And next time, if you have a question, you'll know if you hit the add notifications button and the bell. So thanks again to everyone for your support, supporting this channel and the great questions. And yeah, look forward to talking to you more soon. Just kind of a side note, I kind of stopped answering so many questions in the posts and in the videos. I just didn't have time. There's just too many questions, and like through all the different social media platforms I go through, it got to be too much. So I figured this is kind of a better way to do it, where people that are subscribers probably a little more interested in what I had to say, kind of a way to, you know, get you answers to any questions that you had for the more hardcore viewers and subscribers. So anyways, thanks for watching. Definitely hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Look for more videos soon. Take care.